I don't even want to like saying this, if this situation with your son being brought into this life didn't happen, how sad would that be for you and your child's mother?
Well, I mean, that's a hard one. That's like asking a heroin addict if you want heroin or not. Like, my son is born now, so obviously I love my son and I'm glad that he's here. But I mean, given an opportunity to postpone having a child until we were in a more stable place, so that I could raise a child in like a 2-parent household where that didn't happen, that'd probably be preferable. But it's a weird question to ask once he's already here, right? Like, my child was very clearly a mistake, but I still love him to death. Like, he's kind of come visit a week to hang out for a week. Like, yeah, I mean, I love him, but yeah, it's a weird question to ask. Like,
it is a weird question, and I only said it because I wanted you to imagine like how different your life would be had he not been here. My whole point is women are missing out on that blessing of having a child who I'm sure you would do anything for. If give up your business, give up your anything for your child. He's your seed. He's a part, the best part of you. I hope is him, right? He's your to me. That's how I feel about my son. He's the best part of me, and his voice will live on when I'm gone. And if I raised him right, then he'll have a lot of this ideology. So he'll be on a soapbox as well. But my whole point is, imagine this is not happening for so many women because we push the agenda of we don't need to commit to anything. We can just go out in the workplace, work ourselves to death, take our uterus, not have O's, have cats. You don't need a man. We can have a few men if we want. We can have a few women. Like, there's just no level of commitment that's being driven into our culture anymore. And imagine had you guys not have your child, I'm trying to say, like, that would have been a sad thing.
I don't know if that's true. I think not having our child when we did and then waiting for some number of years probably would have been highly preferable, considering he now lives in a split-parent household. What do you mean?
I'm not saying waiting. I'm saying if it never happened at all, if he never came to this planet.
It's a flawed question for reasons that it would take too long to explain. But I mean, like, there are people who are probably better off not having children. But I mean, once you've what?
I agree with that.
Okay,
yeah,
but you can take a person who, this is called a transformative experience in behavioral econ, okay? You can take a person that would have been better off not having a child, and then you can make them have a child, and then once they have the child, it's not like they're gonna say like, fuck, I don't want this kid. Like, they're gonna love their child once you've had the child, right? That it's the same thing as like, people are better off not doing heroin ever, but once you've got a person addicted to heroin and you ask them, how do you feel about heroin? So depending on if they're high or not, they're gonna go like, I fucking love heroin, it's awesome, right? But it's not really fair to ask the question past the transformative experience, right?
I do understand that. However, heroin in a child is just much different because
I'm not trying to say heroin and child are the same. I'm just saying that to try to make the argument by saying ask the person. I mean, like, that's a hard, like, you can ask a woman if, you know, she's happy that she wears a burqa and she might say yes. And you can ask another woman if she's happy to be able to have her tits out in New York City and she might say yes. It's just phrasing the question is ask the person probably isn't the best way to make the argument, in my opinion.
I was literally trying to get you to understand, like, imagine what your life would be like without your son. You kept saying, and you kept bringing up, I listened very carefully because I've studied it. So I'm very much so listening to the words and the uses of words. You kept saying later, after we had more stable 2-income household, et cetera, et cetera. I'm saying not at all. And I know you don't want to admit it, but you would never not want your son to be here on this planet.
I mean, it depends. Life offers a lot more than children these days, right? Like, life offers a lot more than just children these days. On one end,
understanding you. I'm so sorry.
Life.
I apologize.
Life.
Life offers.
Yes.
I apologize.
Yeah, you're
I got you.
Life offers more than children these days, right? In one world, like, I love animals. I love kids. I like things like that. It's just fun for me. It's fun to play with children. It's fun to have kids to do things. That's super fun for me. And I enjoy it. So I could see a world where I have like 3 or 4 kids. I come home from work and I like get to hang out with my dudes that are running around and shit. That would be super fun and awesome for me. But I can also see a world where I never have kids and I'm, doing my business stuff and I'm pursuing it 1,000,000%. And I might maybe even sharing that time with the woman I love. And there's like a lot of other accomplishments and achievements that I could pursue. Not having a child at all. Like, I can see both of these worlds as being incredibly fulfilling. I'm just not arrogant enough to say that like one is definitely better than the other. That's up to the individual, right?
Well, yeah, but you're in that position now where you have, and I guess for me, this is what is wrong with our society. And I'm sure you're a phenomenal father and you love your son. I can't imagine you not. You seem like you're healthy mentally and all those things. Your faculties are all there. That the fact that you would even say that, like, I don't know, maybe it would be better, like, if my business was successful and like my son wasn't, like, that to me is, I think, the way the problem I have with the dynamics of relationship today, when they're teaching people to be so focused on themselves, so happy, so this, and you're right. to have a child, it's incredibly selfless. You have to give up a lot of things. You have to devote time to them when you don't want to. You have to maybe not spend money the way you used to before, because now you have mouths to feed, braces, etc. And we've come to a society that's like, oh, me. I heard you say a few times, this is fun. Having kids, this is fun. I like playing with kids. I like, this is fun. It's like, having children is so much more than just being fun. Like, it's a sacrifice. It's a lot to it. As you know, it tests you sometimes. You become a better human, but you're also leaving a legacy, and you're providing a gift of life, not only to your son, but the lives that your son will touch. And that is like, that can't even be, like, the scales can't even be argued on, like, the value of that over just having a more successful YouTube career. And I put those words in your mouth. So
sure, that's fine. I mean, I totally disagree. I think you can absolutely weigh these things against each other. I think people are doing it all the time, and people have been doing it in one direction. And if you want people to have more kids, you need to make a better argument for the other direction. It can't just be children are miracles. Like, people can look around, like, children are cool, but I mean, like, again, like, cockroaches have kids. Like, everybody can have children. I think it has to be a more compelling argument than just like, wow, children, miracles. Like, okay, I mean, like you said, there's a big sacrifice that goes along with it too.
It depends on the person and their values, and I think that's the issue today. We're in a very egocentric society today, where people are so focused on themselves, and I heard Destiny say that a lot, and I love that you're happy, but like, it's like, what makes me happy? But there's just so much more to life than how happy I am today. It's like, what is the contribution that you're giving the world? And when you bring a child into the world, that child potentially could be the next president, could be this, could be a doctor who saves thousands of lives, or whatever the case may be. He also, like Destiny said, could be a kid that goes into a school and does unfortunate things. So he's absolutely correct on that as well. There are people who should not be procreating. I just feel for the dynamic today, where it's like, what makes me be happy the most, and not about, like, what is, I guess in utilitarianism, what's the greater good for the, like, what is for the greater good here? Are we all about just pleasure, and everyone is just free to, like, move in and out of open relationships and this and that, and there's just no real commitment?
Yeah,
and
again, I gotta push back, because I run into so many people that have, like, your style of brain, and you're incapable. And the reason why you don't reach anybody when you talk about these things is because the way you summarize the other side is so ridiculous. I can give an accurate summation of your side, okay? The idea of giving birth to a child and the magic of raising him with another person, seeing them grow and develop into something, seeing them go out into the world and contribute, seeing your name, your legacy, your DNA, and everything live on, like, the one, and all of the responsibilities and the gifts and the love and the hate and everything that goes into that, I can see that being a fun and rewarding experience. But then to go on the other side and be like, and some people just want to grow their YouTube channels, and that's so, like, fucking transient and egotistical and stupid. Like, that's such a stupid, like, summation of what the other side is. Like, some people have incredibly enriching and fulfilling lives by pursuing careers, and sometimes the people that do that, did Einstein have kids?
I don't.
He had, like, a bunch of though.
Sure.
Maybe?
Did Plato and Aristotle have children?
He was
like,
an open
there's probably been.
relationship.
I
There's
know.
probably been,
I think Isaac Newton was a virgin.
Sure, there's probably been a lot of people that have made really important contributions to, like, the world that didn't pursue families, that didn't have children. In the Catholic Church, if you do holy orders as a man, or if you're, I think even if you're a nun, you also take vows of celibacy.
Yeah,
so these are people that make.
Tesla was one of them.
Sure, okay. These are people that, like, there are people that make, like, significant contributions to the world that don't necessarily have children, where the pursuit of their career has actually contributed more to mankind in one way or another than just pumping out a few more children. So, I mean, like, if I was to summarize, like, your worldview, the way that you summarize mine, I would say that the honorifics, the pursuit of the maximum virtue that you can achieve in society will only be hindered by spitting out more children. You should be pursuing your talents to the most, so that you can be the best doctor you can be, the best artist you can be, the best movie maker, the best sailor, the best engineer. And for you to go home and to just some random woman and produce 2 or 3 more little oxygen suckers in the world, when you're depriving the entire world of your talents, is such a waste of what you can be. That would be like me summarizing your argument. I don't like it when you keep summarizing my side as, like, these dumb hobbies that don't mean anything when you can have kids instead. Okay.
I didn't say that about you, like, oh, that all you want to do is grow your YouTube channel. In all fairness, I never said
bitches.
that.
Yeah, you're literally just saying, like, just hop from relationship to relationship. Like, every time you summarize my position, you make it sound like so silly and hollow and stupid. But, like, no offense, there's a lot of shitty parents that have a lot of shitty kids that probably shouldn't bother. Like, that happens. Like,
I agree.